Hey, Wellenberg World Entertainment, and we have an update on this Star Trek Origin movie that's meant to be in the works. Well, we have more information now, supposedly anyway, so we'll take this with a grain of salt, but from the sounds of things, I can absolutely 100% believe it, and it just says we have no ideas and we're out of money. So let's have a look at this, because this is bat crap crazy. So a new report provides an update on the Star Trek Origin film that Paramount is working on. The Hollywood Reporter notes former X-Men producer Simon Kinberg is joining the project, which is expected to be directed by Toby Haynes, and is based on a script written by Seth Grahame-Smith. Kinberg will be producing alongside Star Trek 09 director Jar Jar Abrams. God help us all. According to Ethan Vasling, and Bros Kit, the film is said to be set decades before the events of the 09 movie that was directed by J.J. Abrams, likely around modern times. It is said to involve the creation of Starfleet and humankind's first contact with alien life. Paramount reportedly wants to release the film sometime in 2025. Well, good luck with that, because we're halfway through 2024 and you've nothing for this movie yet. So the film was previously reported to be in the works back in January, when Deadline's Justin Kroll noted the project is an origin story that takes place decades before the 09 film that rebooted the franchise. Given Vasling, or whatever the hell you call him, and Kit's report that the film is expected to involve the creation of Starfleet and humanity's first contact with alien life, it's possible it could be a remake of Jonathan Frakes' Star Trek First Contact. That film saw the crew of the Enterprise, helmed by Jean-Luc Picard, confront the Borg as they used a time travel device in an attempt to assimilate humanity before it was able to make its first warp flight. The crew arrived in 2063 just as Zefram Cochrane and his warship, Phoenix, are about to make their first flight. Picard and company have to combat the Borg to ensure Cochrane can complete his warp flight. They are successful, and upon completion of the warp flight, a Vulcan ship arrives and makes first contact with humanity. Meanwhile, Picard and his crew are able to return to the 21st century, yada yada yada. This film is at least one of two Star Trek films that Paramount is working on. The company announced it was working on a fourth Calvin timeline film back in February of 2022 that would see the return of Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, and all them bleeding lot. The film was supposed to hit theaters on December 22nd, 2023, but that clearly did not happen. You don't say. So now we're hearing that this Origin movie is going to explore humanity's first contact with alien life and the creation of Starfleet. You know, everything we've seen on the big screen and small screen already. The first encounter with an alien species, first time ever, Star Trek First Contact. Starfleet starting up, Star Trek Enterprise. If they want to go with it's actually going to be about the formation of the Federation, we also saw that in Star Trek Enterprise. The fact that they're saying they want to possibly set it in modern times, that's the part where you go, oh, they have no money. Because that just means it's meant to be after the Third World War, which is what the history is in Star Trek. So are they just going to say, well, we don't even have to build big sets and beautiful buildings or anything, like we can have everything just run down and stuff because it's after the war? Like, who wants to see that? So what part of it is sci-fi then? And what part of it is Star Trek? It makes no sense. So you would have to start the film with alien contact, which inspires humankind to go out there. But then how are you going to tell the stories of adventure and stuff, because the first Warp 5 starship created was the NX-01 Enterprise. So how are you going to get around that story? You can't. You cannot. Not to mention that Enterprise didn't even have photon torpedoes. They literally had missiles. So if they start making these movies where it's going to be this big action set piece, because that's all they want to do. They want to turn it into Guardians of the Galaxy and Star Wars and stuff. They don't want it to be Star Trek. You're just going to have all this crap where it will absolutely contradict everything that we've already seen and known from the history of Star Trek. Like, are they going to try and use the USS Calvin or Kevin? What was it called? Franklin from Star Trek Beyond. Are they going to use a ship that looks like that? Are they going to try and say that was around? No, because every diehard Star Trek fan, we all just point and go, that shouldn't be there. That didn't have that. We've already seen humanity's first meeting with an alien species, and we've seen the formation of Starfleet and how they got up and started and were being held back by the Vulcans. We've seen the formation of the Federation. Why do you keep going backwards? Why aren't you going forwards? Not that you're doing any better, just look at the state of Discovery and stuff. Oh, we're going to take it out of the 23rd century and we're going to put it in the 32nd century, so we're not tied down by all of that canon stuff, and they've still managed to completely screw it up. It's a joke. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants this Star Trek origin movie. No one. Just let it go. And I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen. And without any surprise, they've turned around now and said, oh, the origin movie is actually going to come out before the Calvin Timeline Star Trek 4 movie. You don't say. You mean the movie you seem to now actually have people attached to work on, as opposed to the movie you don't even have the cast signed on to contracts or anything to come back. Yeah, it kind of makes sense that you're prioritizing one over the other. Good God, what an absolute shit show Paramount is with Star Trek. And don't forget, while they're making all these announcements, they're trying to sell Paramount. And it looks like Sony and a company called Apollo, I believe it is, seem to be the favourites now in the running, because Skydance missed the deadline for this cash in hand purchase. So what's his name, David Ellison, apparently pulled back because he wanted to get more shares or something, and because he did that, they missed the time frame, which meant other studios and people could come in and make offers. And apparently Sony now and this Apollo have taken the lead. God help us again. But that's the story for this disaster in the making, if this ever even happens. A Star Trek origin movie based on First Contact, possibly set in modern times. I can hardly wait. I can hardly contain my excitement. Anyway, with that, I'll leave it there for this one. So cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.